Hey, what's up guys? So I thought I'd give you an update now. I just landed from flight number 6, just rolled past 10 hours, and so we're due for our first oil change. So as you can see here, we are looking good outside. Cash is guarding the airplane for us. So I'm gonna pull it in and pull the cowlings, do an oil change, and basically annual the airplane, for lack of a better term. And we're gonna pull all the covers, look at everything. I've been doing little inspections as we go, but we're gonna do a pretty in-depth one. So in the back of your Lycoming engines, there's this little screen like this. It's just basically a little cylinder with a bunch of little holes in it. So all your oil that comes out of the sump gets pushed through the motor, goes through that screen. And so basically, if you ever have any big chunks of metal come out of the engine, anything like that, it's gonna end up in the screen. This is where you're gonna see it. So if your mechanic isn't checking these, that needs to be checked every oil change. To see, if you're missing a chunk of, it could be anything, a chunk of bearing, a piece of piston. I mean, literally anything, any big chunks of metal that come out of the engine are gonna end up in this and not the oil filter. So if you have a big chunk come off of something that needs to be there, it's not gonna show up in the oil filter when they cut it. It's gonna be in this. So if you guys aren't checking those, you should start. But this one looked really good. This is the first 10-hour oil change after break-in, and there's literally nothing in it. Looks fantastic, so super happy about that. Just thought I'd give you guys that tip. So we are now 20 hours in on flying the Bearhawk, about halfway through flight testing. Everything is going fantastic, really. Nothing major, just a bunch of little minor tweaks here and there. And so, yeah, what we've done in the first 20 hours is a bunch of really pretty minor stuff, but we're gonna go over it real quick. So, on initial flight testing, we noticed that there was a really slow roll to the left. You didn't notice it at slow speeds, but up at cruise, you just kind of have to hold a little bit of left pressure. So nothing crazy, kind of to be expected. So what we ended up doing with that is we shimmed the upper aileron mounts. And so let me see if I can get you guys a large area washer underneath that upper mount. We shimmed that upper mount. And on this hinge right here, you can see large areas underneath both of those washers up at the top. So essentially what we did was we moved this aileron right here just back a tiny bit and down a tiny bit. Just kind of changed the angle on it, and that took all the roll out of it. No speed penalty, you don't have tabs hanging off the airplane or anything like that. So that turned out really well, no complaints there. Everything on the back of the airplane has not been changed at all. I'll take that back. The only thing we did was on my first pavement landing, we noticed this tail wheel shimmied like crazy. So right here, there's a shimmy dampener, kind of a tension screw on this tail wheel. It comes without any tension on it. I added a little bit in it, and it seems to be doing really well. So no complaints there. On the front of the airplane, we added these cooling louvers to the lower section. There's one on both sides. Got one there, one there. And Cash, what you doing? So on these cooling louvers, basically all they are is, I believe they're for a Hyundai car, something like that. They're literally just an aluminum louver. So we cut sizing to fit. adjusted the angle on all these little fins until we liked the cooling action on it. And overall, that made a pretty good difference. We saw a good, probably 15-degree or more reduction in engine cylinder temps, especially in climb. It helps a lot. And I think that has to do with the fact that when you get that high angle of attack, you're kind of blanking a lot of the belly. So it does not aid in engine cooling. So we did that. That helped a whole lot. Engine's cooling good now, no complaints on that side of things. I would like it, you know, just like anything, you could always get a little bit more. It's pretty hard to run one of these too cool. It can happen. But I think what's happening now is due to these shocks and due to this belly pod, I think we're building a high pressure zone right here. And so when all this cooling air is trying to come out of the bottom here, because there's a big, you got your tunnel right there and your flaps. I think when the air is trying to come out of the bottom here, it's hitting a high pressure zone that's built up right in here. And if we are, there has been some success with running Vortex generators at different places on the belly of the aircraft to get that air to continue to follow the contour a little bit better. We'll mess with that and see if we get any results. Be interested to see if we do or not. So that's the next flight test. When I first flew this airplane, I did have Vortex generators on it. I basically placed them at 5% of chord, and they were a tight spacing, tighter than what is typically done. I had a bunch of extra, and there'd been some mixed reports on if it did anything, so I was like, oh, we'll try it. So I put those on. The airplane seemed to be cruising slower than it should be and not stalling as slow as it should be. So I pulled them off, and we gained 5 or 6 mile an hour in cruise. And the stall speed, if anything, went down, but it didn't change. You know, it might have gone down a mile an hour or two. It's kind of hard to tell. But it definitely changed, and the airplane feels better. So it did not like that initial placement. Bearhawks respond well to Vortex generators. Almost every airplane does. But you have to get the placement right, and that was not the right placement. So today, we're going to do some more Vortex generator testing. So yeah, that's it. First 20 hours have been fantastic. Airplane flies great. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know, and I will soon have all my numbers for you. I'm gonna get everything tweaked out to where I want it and get all the VGs in place and everything like that before I give you guys numbers on everything. But we're getting close. So let me know what you think in a comment below, and we'll see you in the next one.